earlier, everyone who's here gets 30 points for being here. And it's self-recorded, so just be sure to when you log in, to put your 30 points, and do let your team members know that they'll have an opportunity to watch this taped and linked to the challenge website to get their 30 points as well. So I would like to introduce to you, we have Dr. Tom Byrne here, who's the chairperson of the Psych Department at MCLA. And as you can see, he's going to be talking to us about behavior changes, what we're all here for during the challenge. So welcome, and thank you for being here.
Well, thank you much. Inviting me to our intimate setting here. My work really specializes in basic principles of learning and motivation. And what I have prepared for you today is just some brief slides that relate those principles to the challenges that anyone faces as they're trying to change their lifestyle habits as they relate to your health. So, concepts relevant to diet and exercise, and I think there are some common themes that run through both trying to change diet and exercise. So, go ahead and give it a click.
On that clicker.
Okay, so the first and foremost concept here, food is a primary reinforcer. Okay, this is disputed fact, and when we talk about a reinforcer, we talk about something that increases your behavior as a consequence. Okay? Food is a primary reinforcer. Primary meaning that no learning needs to happen in order for this to be true. That is, you were all born hardwired such that food will reinforce your behavior. Simple concept, but important. In other words, if this behavior results in a reinforcer, it's likely to occur again. This is a good thing, okay? Some foods are more powerful reinforcers than others. And so we have a broccoli versus a donut here. I'm sure you've all driven by the Dunkin' Donuts downtown North Adams early in the morning. Wow, it's mayhem, it's insanity.
Makes you want to go out and eat broccoli.
Yeah, well, I've thought about maybe starting some competition. Tom's Broccoli Hut right across the street. What do you think I'll do?
I'll be there.
Broccoli stocks,
right.
broccachinos, I don't know. So, and I suppose from an evolutionary perspective, people would tell us that our species probably evolved in areas where it was difficult to encounter foods that are high in sugar and high in fat. I mean, if you went through a hike up Mount Greylock and you tried to find your own foods, you probably wouldn't find something so rich in calories as a donut. So we've learned to hoard these things.
Sorry, we're going to rearrange
A little musical chairs here. No problem.
Figuring it out. Okay, thank you guys for. All right.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're ready for the next one. So, one clearly can change their dietary habits from moving from foods that are relatively high in sugar and fats to those which are lower and higher in fiber and vitamins and things along those lines. And one with enough exposure to healthier foods, you can shift your preference somewhat. That is, with exposure, that broccoli actually becomes more reinforcing. Okay? But this takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. Okay? There's, one has to maintain a pretty consistent diet change in order for that to happen. And the time here is really what I'm going to spend most of the time talking about today. So, delays. Okay, when we talk about learning and motivation, even small delays, okay, are really important in understanding behavior change. Okay? So, the importance of temporal contiguity. The time between your behavior and the consequence of that behavior is critically important. This doesn't always work in our favor. So, things to point this out. So think about teaching a dog some tricks. You can teach a dog to roll over by providing a treat when it does so. We're all fairly familiar with paw positive reinforcement at this level. You want the dog to roll over again, you can give the dog a little bit of food, or pat on the back, piece of bacon, whatever. Okay? And in order to really teach that dog to roll over, you want to provide that reinforcer as soon as he's done rolling over, immediately. What would happen if you wait 10 seconds? And that 10 seconds will actually really interfere with the learning process. The dog might be onto something better than you. By that time, the dog rolls over and you do nothing for 10 seconds. Come on, man. Yeah. It's actually a fairly long time. But that's minuscule compared to some of the delays that we're talking about with diet and exercise. What if you wait 10 minutes? You ever teach that dog to roll over? No. 10 days? Forget it. Okay? Same thing if your dog's jumping on the couch. You can scold your dog. Quit it! Get down! That'll work if you do it immediately. What if you wait 10 seconds? Well, between the time that the dog's jumped on the couch and 10 seconds goes by, he might be doing some other things. He might start going like this. And you say, quit it! What happened? 10 minutes? Forget it. Okay? So, even what look like short delays, okay, can really reduce, okay, how much effect our consequences have on our behavior. So when it comes to changing diet, it's not a fair fight. The reinforcing effects of that donut, as soon as you do this, they're immediate. They happen right away. Okay? The taste, you swallow it, the feel, okay? So those reinforcing effects, they're really quick. Okay? Now, the reason we bring this up at all is, well, the consequences ultimately of eating those donuts are not really beneficial, are they? But those aversive consequences, they're delayed by quite a bit. Okay, they're undetectable into considerable accumulation. This is the same problem really that we have with trying to set up effective treatment for substance abuse problems. The reinforcing effects of a drug immediately reinforce that response. The aversive consequences, which we would hope would control the behavior, they're delayed. So, a little thought experiment. What if every time you had that hamburger or that donut or that chocolate bar, you took a bite, you could actually feel your stomach expand just a little bit? Or, oh gosh, that really hurts my heart when I bite that munchkin. It would probably be a lot easier to avoid those types of foods. Okay? But those consequences, they're real, but they're imperceptible because of the delay and the accumulation that's necessary to build it up. So that's one thing that's going against us when we're trying to change our eating habits. In the psychological literature in the past decade or so, there's been a lot of research on a concept called delayed discounting, which really deals with how we perceive these delays. Okay? So I gave some dog examples. Well, the same thing holds true for humans. We oftentimes talk about these things too, but even how we talk about them and consider them are affected by delays in the same way. So a delayed discounting study might work like this. I could ask you a question, hypothetically. Would you rather have $500 today or $500 tomorrow? I'd probably take it today myself. Wow, I could get a really nice dinner and shopping and who knows. Oh, now it's tricky. Would you rather have $450 today or $500 tomorrow? Well, unless I have a bill that's due, I think I can wait 24 hours for $50. $450 today or $500 in 1 week? How are the stock markets doing today? They go down pretty fast. I can invest it. Go ahead. 2 weeks. Each of us will probably have a point which will switch. And it's different for each one of us. Okay? But at some point, you're going to probably say, you know what? I'd rather have the $450 right now rather than wait 2 weeks, or 4 weeks, or 8 weeks.